Hi everyone, this is Joe from the JodoCast. If you enjoy what we do here at the JodoCast and think it's worth your hard-earned money, you can support the show via Patreon. The show is ad-free and we depend on the support of our generous patrons to pay our bills, upgrade old equipment, and bribe Imperial officials. Just a $2 donation gets you access to exclusive content such as off-topic discussion videos, uncut videos of the show, the ability to watch us record the show live and even chat with us as we do so, access to the patron exclusive channel on our Discord server, access to YouTube videos before anyone else gets to watch them, and more. Consider becoming a noodle scooter today. And now back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the JodoCast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. This is episode 125. My name is Evan Lewis. I am, of course, joined by Leo Andry and Joe Latovsky.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And I believe, I'm probably wrong, because we've been recording things throughout the month of January 2021, but is this our first regular one for 2021?
Doesn't matter.
We've actually recorded in 2021, yes.
Yes, but this is episode 125 of the mainstream, Prime, Jodo Prime, first of the year. In any event, you're right, it doesn't matter, because nothing matters. Except Star Wars, is the expected response. But, your whole, Patreon intro has completely thrown me off my game, because I don't need to necessarily say anything except to give a shout-out. A shout-out!
Yes.
Shout!
Oh. Shout out to our new patron. We have a new patron. It is Samantha Coliani. So thank you very much, Samantha, for supporting the show. We genuinely appreciate it. I have a hint or a hunch. I don't actually know for sure that she might have hopped on board to get some exclusive access to early access videos on the patron page, which is cool. That's certainly a thing that patrons get. So shout out to Sam.
Sam!
I'm thinking
Leo's not in the mood for this. He's like, I don't want any of your shenanigans tonight.
It's very serious podcasting tonight.
We'll see how long that lasts.
I'm celebrating on the inside.
You've either had too much whiskey or not enough whiskey.
I think the talk of the Leo show is really holding him back tonight.
That's all he's going to be thinking about.
I'm just thinking of the logistics of having a webcam running 24/7 in my office.
I mean, squirrels and birds have that sort of thing.
Pandas.
Yeah.
Bald eagles. All right, that's enough. We're moving on from this. We're spending too much time thinking about the Leo show and the theme song for the Leo show. So,
just obviously, I'm not going to sing it. No.
Somebody save me. No.
No, I was thinking more.
No, okay.
I was thinking more along the lines of "Ba-da-da-da-da-da." It's the Leo show starring me. I'm Leo.
I thought it was
all the
going to be
I actually got.
Wow.
Why the f*** are you looking at me?
All right, let's see here. Was going to ask both of y'all what y'all been playing, but things are...
Nobody does that.
Yeah, exactly. Not yet. Soon enough. So we're going to skip it.
Oh.
What? Oh, you don't want us to skip it? Okay, what have you been playing?
Especially if you keep it to 60 seconds.
All right. Ready? I'm not actually doing a thing right now. Go!
The Squadrons, The Force Unleashed, Star Wars Life, Star Wars Snack Time, Star Wars Unlock. I think that's it.
Okay,
done.
That's a new world record. And
did it.
Leo, go.
Put all my unopened Legion boxes in a stack behind me here. Two stacks.
it hurts to look at, to be honest. It's like kind of impressive, but like sad. To
like,
the listener, behind Leo, over his shoulder, is a stack of unopened Legion expansions, 2 towers tall.
Let me just
To the
say,
top of the bookshelf. That bookshelf looks like it's probably about 4.5 feet, 5 feet tall.
Yeah, about that.
No human being would stack Legion boxes like that.
It's true.
What do you mean?
It's a Ghostbusters reference, Joe.
Oh.
Get the f out of here.
Bye, everybody.
But it is quite a sight to behold. Like, and you can like in other pictures that you've sent us, because that's this month's Jodo of Painting. Literally, not kidding. We want to see your sealed boxes or piles of gray plastic, your pile of shame. Like, you've got doubles of so many things. We're moving on, but like, how do you have like you've got full armies?
Yeah,
but you've got like so much not done.
Yeah. It's.
Are you still just like getting by on 6 squads
We're gonna have
of rebel troopers?
Well, I just like I sort of just assemble stuff like as I decide to put it in my army. Is what I've been doing.
Okay.
Which well, and also you know like just continuing to buy product and not assemble or paint any of it for like about a year now is, you know, definitely greatly contributed to the size of.
I've got a great idea. We're going to, as kind of the pilot to the Leo show, you are going to have that webcam on the whole time. We are going to kind of, those are your bounds unless you're eating or using the bathroom. For 48 hours, you can't leave, and you have to just assemble and paint the whole time, and we will raise money for charity and to buy you another expansion when you're done. I think it would be fun to lock you in there and not let you out until you finish them, but also stream it and raise money for some kind of cause.
Pretty sure I'll end up dying first.
Probably just by like cutting yourself with your X-Acto knife enough times.
Great. This is
Evan, what is the news of the day?
Now I'm just sitting here thinking about Leo bleeding out all over and spilling his Nuln oil too in the process.
In the wound, Nuln oil in the wound.
Yes. And using Ardcoat to seal the wound.
Could you actually use super glue though?
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah.
So we'd be on stream going, use super glue, not the hard coat.
And he's
fading.
He's trying to use PVA. And like, that's not gonna work.
If you put enough on.
Yeah. So the news. It's not a new segment. We're just picking out the topic du jour, which is nothing but rumor and speculation at this point, but
I would say it's, if on the one hand is pure rumor and speculation, on the other hand is cold hard fact, it's more towards rumor and speculation, but it's not, the needle isn't all the way there. There's tidbits of hints that it could be real.
Yeah, crumbs. There are crumbs of truthiness to this.
But don't worry, folks, our clickbaity title to this episode, whenever we come up with it, will certainly imply that this is all cold hard fact.
Or lies.
Ooh, can that be the title? The title is
Fact or Fiction.
KOTOR 3 is real, that's a fact, exclamation point. That's right, we're talking about Knights of the Old Republic 3.
Well, I thought, no, it's not
a reboot.
It was a remake.
Well, that's the question, because both of those have been floating around lately, I think. Both an HD remake, although it would need to be way more than just, a prettying up of that engine. It would need to be a new engine, but also an actual KOTOR 3, which
they just rebuilt KOTOR 1 in the as a Dragon Age Origins mod. There you go, done.
I would rather see a remaster of one more than like when you say remaster, it's kind of like the same game but with prettier graphics.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather them just redo it and maintain the writing and the voice acting and redo everything else from the ground up.
As far as the voice acting goes, it's not like going from the very first Resident Evil game to the Resident Evil remake on GameCube, where it was marvelously redone voice acting. No more, I hope this is not Chris's blood.
I would, in a KOTOR 1, hope that they expand on the alien dialogue, because I feel like the Huddies speaking characters have about 3 lines.
Oh, absolutely.
Mulera.
So, I mean, we can break this up. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we can break this up into this discussion into 3 sections. So if they did a redo, like, or a remake in terms of like Final Fantasy VII remake or Resident Evil remake, what would you like to see?
I mean, I hope they don't totally ruin it like they did with the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Now, please expound on that, because lots of people
I think a lot of people... Yeah.
Well, they're all wrong. That's.
I mean, we gathered that
the game, the graphics look great. I can't really say anything about the story because honestly, all I did was play the demo, and the combat, the new combat's just like the worst thing ever. Second worst thing ever, actually.
Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, that's the worst thing ever. that combat.
I think that would be the biggest question if there was a straight-up KOTOR remake, is what you do with the combat, because the combat style in KOTOR is very much like... Is it straight-up turn-based, or is it like mostly turn-based? It's definitely involved behind-the-scenes dice rolling.
It's real-time, but it's... I mean, I guess you could say it's turn-based, because each... like character takes turns doing actions, but it all happens in real time. Right. It's pretty much the same as like Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah. And
Dragon Age Origins is very much like an updated, slight more modernized version of KOTOR in terms of like combat and things like that.
And I feel like that's not quite as accessible to a wider audience. And I think if you're remaking a Star Wars game, maybe you would mix it up and do something like they did with Dragon Age 2, where it's more, you know what I'm saying, or you may make it like I don't know, just
Leo is twitching for those of you just listening to this.
Make it a bit more modern, which I would be fine either way. I feel like I do really enjoy being able to pause time and like look at, especially the prettier a game is, the more fun I have pausing the action and just like looking at the fight happening.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be one of the big things, is do they maintain the combat, which is more or less just a pen and paper RPG that's happening in the background, because it has like dice rolls and stuff happening behind the scenes. Or do you change that entirely and kind of give it a more modern action?
Yeah, I think they would have to change it a little bit, because I mean, isn't KOTOR actually like the combat and that stuff is technically based on the D20 stuff, or am I?
It is.
Not remembering right.
No, it is.
It's been a long time since I played. So.
It was for KOTOR, well, 1 and 2. It was probably a mashup of what was in the revised D20 from Wizards of the Coast books and the Neverwinter Nights D20 3rd edition system, how they translated that to PC. But as far as the combat system goes, like it honestly took me a little bit to get used to it as I was playing the game the very, very first time. But like Leo's, yeah, it was very different for me. But now, so many years later, it seems like I'm playing lots of games that use a comparable system, whether you're talking about Dragon Age, certainly not Mass Effect. That's a whole new thing. That's not new. completely different. It's same parents, different whatever. But even you got things like Pillars of Eternity and Divinity Original Sin and Baldur's Gate 3 coming out before too long in its final form. So I don't think personally that the combat system is bad. KOTOR 2 switched things up enough to make it a little quicker, or a little simpler at least. So combat, I think it's still fine. I think it just needs a bit more dynamism added to it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of you just standing there wailing on each other with sticks. Basically, there's a lot of that going on.
I do remember being impressed when I first played it of just the lightsaber versus lightsaber animations, which is simple because there's just two characters standing in front of each other, and there's they're cycling through different attacks. But I think that's an advantage of that system is if they're kind of just locked in place there, you can just play with the animations as they sit there and smash attacks on each other to make it look more interesting than that sounds. But I think the number one thing I would... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. I was just going to say, we saw some of that progression in Dragon Age Origins and especially Dragon Age 2, where it was, from my perspective, it was basically the same system as DAO, but had a lot more animation for each basic action. So just a matter of adding more animations.
I think the biggest thing that would be nice in any update would be like an AI system for other members in your party. Like you get in Dragon Age, where you can, tell your guys, okay, if you're below 50% health, use a stim pack. When combat starts, if somebody's attacking the healer, go attack that thing or whatever. Something like that, I think, is the thing that would be the most useful and welcome upgrade to a combat gameplay point of view,
and hopefully something to keep your partners from running straight over the mines.
I think the number one thing I would want is just a character creator that has a lot of depth. That's because the game obviously is very limited because of its age, but it's basically pick of these 6 human heads or whatever.
And thinking back on them, they're not great either.
Yeah, it's are you a man or a woman? Pick your skin color. There you go. That's it. Give me something. It doesn't have to be the most in-depth character generator, but I would like something maybe at least approaching Dragon Age or Mass Effect levels, because that's fun. And the game's all in third person, so you get to see you, dude.
Or a lady.
Maybe even
I would also like them if they did release a remaster in some way, shape, or form to have some sort of canonicity statement with the release. Not that I personally care that much about it. I just would like to see internet arguments headed off ahead of time.
That's a very good idea because as soon as the game comes out, it goes, "This is canon. Is this canon?" If you just have a feature in the game where it explains it, then that's that. It's all shut down. Shut the up, everybody. You could even have a playthrough mode that just takes all the choices away and only gives you the canon options and say, this is specifically the canon story.
Honestly?
I don't know why you're playing like this, nerd, because you could have a bunch of choices.
Well, I'm not even talking necessarily story choices or whatever. I'm just saying in general, is Knights of the because as soon as they release an updated version of the game, there's going to be other people who are like, well, Disney said everything they publish is canon, so that means Knights of the Old Republic is now canon.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That's sort of what I'm saying is obviously there's only going to be one canon story through the game if it was to be canon, but just in general, what what ends up being the status of the game.
Yeah.
Even if they do remake it, I'm going to assume that it's not going to be canon. But
I think they're
like I said, I feel like they would. I would hope that Disney clarifies it in one way or the other, just so I don't have to listen to people arguing about that.
I'm really wondering if their initial insistence of everything we do is canon is maybe not quite as hard and fast as it once was.
Making video games with choices a lot more difficult.
Yes.
But also, we know that's also not super... Obviously, Sims Journey to Batu is not canon. All the stuff published by Fantasy Flight isn't automatically canon. So there's been, like, gray area there.
Killing the Emperor on Hoth and Battlefront.
Yes.
I will say that outside of just a graphical update, like Joe said, keeping a lot of the voice acting except expanding the alien language because it literally is the same phrases on repeat.
I wouldn't mind a skip terrorist button.
See, that's actually one of the mods I found that lets you start as a Jedi. It also lets you play as a Wookiee. I found a mod that lets you play as a Wookiee. I think that would be funny. Obviously, it would be good to have somebody fully voice the player character at that point.
I do like that in DA Inquisition, I think, does it the best in terms of giving you a non-completely set out character and still having them voiced. Because obviously in Dragon Age Origins, your character was silent, but you got to choose everything. And then in Dragon Age 2, your character was pretty much on a path. You just chose male, female, and class, and they had a voice. But in Inquisition, I think they got away with it pretty well with letting you choose species, class, sex, and it was still fully voiced.
Yeah, and same with the Old Republic MMO.
Oh, yeah. I think that's still the king of voiceover work.
Yeah.
So, and something that I think would have been much more likely to have been included in any remake about 10 years ago, I think this would have been far more likely, which is why I was asking David Bass, formerly of BioWare, about it, and he said, not right now, is getting the cut content put back in. Because KOTOR 2 is notorious for having cut content and not having a lot of time to get the bugs out. But KOTOR 1 had cut content as well. And it wasn't groundbreaking, earth-shattering content, but I would like another planet to visit. Especially a volcano one.
So, a remake is one of the rumors. I'm assuming now we have other things to discuss.
A potential sequel. So like an actual KOTOR 3, not KOTOR 3, 4, 5, 6.
This seems like the least like KOTOR 3 to me, because KOTOR 1 and 2 aren't canon, and so if you make 3, it kind of implies that they are, but doesn't automatically make them. And then you'd have to, assume that all of your players haven't been playing it, so why not just call it, something else? I don't know.
Jedi Knights from a long time ago.
The not-so-high Republic. I don't know why sequel has even been bandied about. I think the opportunity for a KOTOR 3, an actual legit KOTOR 3,
I think it's because, it's all going to be part of the plan to, erase the sequels.
Oh.
and oust Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm.
She's probably the reason why we didn't get KOTOR 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard that
as soon as she's gone, KOTOR 3 is launching the same day.
Yep.
I heard Filoni and Favreau coded KOTOR 3 themselves, and she won't let them publish it. And she's got Pablo Hidalgo holding them back, slapping them.
It's true, all of it.
This is all absolutely true. Next time you're hanging out with weirdos, you can be sure to tell them this is fact.
And now I'm just picturing Pablo Hidalgo like holding them by the scruff and just.
They're like, "Let me submit the button." No, cannot click.
I'll let you wear my hat. No.
Yeah, it just feels like it'd be really messy to just label it a straight up sequel. You could make one that is in essence a sequel, but like not branded as such. You know, like it could allude to the previous games, but I feel like that would be very tricky and hard and confusing to. I would imagine most people have not played KOTOR 1 and 2 these days. At least the most Star Wars fans who might be getting into Star Wars games for the first time or something.
Yeah. It'd be a hard game to market, except
right.
to
As
people
much as
like me.
KOTOR 1 and 2 are some of the most popular Star Wars games of all time, I still feel like you wouldn't want to market to just those people who have played it, because that's still not a big enough audience.
Yeah, no, I think our most likely things we're going to get are either the remaster we were discussing earlier, or just a straight up reboot of the series, possibly still with the name Knights of the Old Republic, you know, much like they rebooted the Battlefront series.
Right. And I feel like,
I mean, maybe even like Revan will be the main character or something like that, but it will be a new version of the story or something like that.
Yeah, they could retell the story in a new way if they want, maybe a way that, not that the current one conflicts with canon at all just because they're so separate, you know, thousands of years, but they could retell the story if they wanted. That would be fine. I feel like we know that the people who work at Lucasfilm love KOTOR. Like the team who made Rebels, they all love KOTOR and were trying every chance they could to bring in KOTOR tidbits, like the hammerheads and in Resistance, that one lady has like the T3 style droid. I think that would be the preferable option, because as much as a remake would be nice, I'd rather get an entirely new experience that has new Star Wars to like consume.
Well, and I think a reboot also lets them depart more dramatically from the formula of the original games too.
Right.
You know, just like how we were talking. I mean, there's that game play style is dated and would need significant updating in some way, shape, or form.
They could maybe find a more nuanced way. I mean, it's Star Wars, so it should be light side, dark side. I mean, even Mass Effect was basically Paragon Renegade, the same deal. But, you know, maybe if you don't necessarily have to become a Sith, you just you quit at being a Jedi and become an evil dark side person. Or I think people have been talking, maybe it would be set in the High Republic, which would be definitely a spiritual successor, but totally different. You know, Knights of the High Republic would sell me if that was what the name was.
Well, and yeah, if they said, here's a brand new Star Wars role-playing game in the tradition of Knights of the Old Republic, and it's Knights of the High Republic. What? And if you consider for a moment, and I realize we might have a couple of audiences who aren't necessarily 100% up to date on the two things that we're talking about. So in the original Knights of the Old Republic video game, not the comic books, because that's a whole other thing that we would have to drudge up, but there is a huge, undefeatable force on the edge of the Republic that is attacking colonies, and the Republic can't handle it, and they call upon the Jedi to come to their aid, and the Jedi say no, until Jedi Knight Revan says, well, fine, then I'll do it all by myself.
Evan?
Oh.
I mean, I think we all assume that was his Jedi name, right? Evan?
Because Alec became Malik, so obviously. And now in the High Republic, what do we have? We've got a group of bad guys, right? Terrorizing the Outer Rim.
Nile. They're like pirates who are... Yeah, they have a way of moving through hyperspace that nobody else has, and they're
we should preface this with a little bit of a spoiler warning.
I'm gonna try and keep it vague enough. I mean, they're pirates. Their name is the Nile. It's short for nihilists. They're I think
Darth Nihilus.
I think what they said was you can't take it with you, but we can take it from you, was, I think, the author's kind of slogan for them. Basically, like, oh, well, you can't take it with when you die, but we're going to take everything from you, and we're going to have a good time about it. They progress to be a bit more than that in the story, but I think there's also a different villain in the High Republic that I don't think has come into play yet, but they've previewed. It's some weird, like, evil plant thing. But I think that would be fine, and I think they are very cool designs, and they even have, there's like a hierarchy of the ranks. They're called like the strikes and storms and tempests or whatever. So it already feels kind of video gamey. We're like, well, these guys are the guys you can put down in one hit, and these guys are the guys that have this strategy. But I think that would work because there are like kind of bosses inside the thing. There is a lot of room to work with them. The main villain has a lot going on. I think it would be cool if whatever you did in it wasn't the most important thing happening in the High Republic. Let that happen in the books. Your character isn't the most important person in the galaxy, which I think is not...
Maybe you're just like solving a mystery on like the Starlight Beacon space station or something like that.
I feel like that would be our Citadel.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Maybe they're like, oh, the Nile is happening. You're going to run into them now and then. But that's not the problem you're concerned with. Leave that to the rest of us. You have to deal with this thing. I think it would be cool to have a role-playing game where the thing you're dealing with isn't the end of the world. Maybe save that for the sequel or something. I mean, that's kind of the shtick with RPGs, but especially if it's a High Republic-based one, maybe the thing you're doing is a bit separate from everybody else or lower level. I don't know. I love the era already, and I love the book, so I would rather have a High Republic set game than an Old Republic set game. I'll say that right now.
I think it's also fair to say that the High Republic is doing more to differentiate itself from, I guess, what would we call it, modern era Star Wars than KOTOR the game series did. KOTOR the games, and SWTOR for that matter, are very, very, very derivative of modern era. KOTOR the comics, not the wonderful John Jackson Millers, but the Tales of the Jedi. KOTOR was based on.
Those really did feel like you were in a different era.
Yeah,
I agree that like the KOTOR, the game, and the Old Republic, the MMO, they do definitely just kind of feel like you're just in regular old Star Wars. It's just
SWTOR.
the shapes of some of the ships are slightly
the droids.
Yeah.
different names and stuff.
When I was playing SWTOR, it felt like knockoff Star Wars to me. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
The design language, it all felt like someone was trying to be as Star Wars as they could without getting copyright trouble.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some of that happening in the Old Republic. Like, you can definitely see how a ship like the Vector
Of the High Republic.
Yeah, how a ship like the Vector will one day sort of evolve into a prequel era starfighter.
Right, and it's not like a bad thing. You know, there needs to be some connective tissue. You need to, but
I definitely feel like just sort of, I mean, even just the general like attitudes and like the way the Jedi behave and stuff helps differentiate them from like you said, from modern.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to pick Leo's brain for a second, because as we were talking about having your story in this game not be the main event of the galaxy, I was thinking about how in Baldur's Gate, the first one at least, because I haven't played Baldur's Gate 2 yet, I know the basic gist of it is you're trying to prevent the return of the god of murder.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one event in a huge world, and is it necessarily the end of the world, or is it just one of many ends of the world in the course of the video game?
Over the course of the video game, not so much. I mean, if you know, Ball were to return, that would be really bad. You know, I mean, and again, I mean, you as like one of the last surviving children of Ball or something like that. It's been a long time since that, but I think you know, it definitely kind of plays into the sort of like chosen one, special child tropes and stuff like that, you know, which again, I mean, I just sort of rather it was like, you know, you are a Jedi Knight out and you're given a mission, and it's you know, more along the lines of again, going back to the High Republic book, Light of the Jedi, and there's some spoilers there, but that outpost on the metal planet, you know, something like that, where you're just a Jedi stationed at an outpost like that, and you and like your party, you get to make out of the other Jedi at the outpost, and I mean, maybe, and you just have missions to go out and like protect these farmers from some raiders or shit like that. And over the course, though, maybe you do uncover some. I mean, you uncover some overarching plot or story or whatever. But again, maybe it's something that's only affecting like this planet you're stationed on. It's the fate of the whole damn Republic doesn't hang on you stopping whatever.
Yeah.
Ooh, and your character can have something kind of visually unique about them that's like not up to the player choice, so that way you'll see that thing on like a character in the background of some comic and you'll be like, oh, it's me. So I think what we haven't talked about is the big rumors. I'm actually looking at an article from Cinelinx that was posted just about a year ago today, a little over a year ago, January 2020. I like Cinelinx. We've actually had the guy who runs it on the show before for Clumsy and Random. He's usually pretty good. Not that, you know, rumors, all of them come true. But this article from last year is talking about how there's sources saying that Knights of the Old Republic remake is back in development. However, this says it's I don't know if this says it specifically at EA, but he does mention some EA. The news that was coming out recently was referencing that, saying, okay, there was that news a while back that a remake was being made. But journalist Jason Schreier was posting on a forum.
Well, he was saying the same things a year ago too. That he's maybe heard some stuff, but as far as he knows, it's not being done by EA.
Right. So I think that's the new news, is that if it's happening, it's not coming from EA. And he did post that, like, you'll never guess where it's from, which kind of either sounds like you'll never guess because it's not happening, or you'll never guess because it's a studio you really wouldn't expect to be working on a project like this. And that's like the news is those little rumors. Weird thing I just noticed looking back at this 2020 KOTOR article on Cinelinx is that he does link to Project Luminous tie-in video game. Project Luminous was the name of the High Republic before they announced what the High Republic was. And it links to a tweet that just says he doesn't have any tangible info, but it seems like the Project Luminous video game from the report earlier this month is real. Who knows what that is, because it also links to a different website, not his website, Zero.hu. Oh, it's like about Zero the Hutt. It's a kind of rumor website. I don't spend a whole lot of time on these rumor websites, but this one does say that.
But you do spend a lot of time on Zero the Hutt websites.
Yes, the not news ones. The ones that I have to go into
34 ones
incognito mode before I visit them. This one said that the High Republic or the Project Luminous would kick off with this video game, which obviously it didn't. But it also says the Project Luminous video game would be in 2021, which seems unlikely. Although, did they even announce when that Ubisoft game was going to be?
No.
I don't think so. No.
No. But like I was saying, like I was telling somebody, it seems like given the announcement and then like general video game development time and stuff like that, it seems pretty likely that it's going to be able to come out not long after EA's exclusivity deal expires.
Right, which is this year or next year?
It's either next year or the year after.
Right, we were discussing, like, I wonder, it seems like that deal doesn't prevent you from making a Star Wars game, just releasing a Star Wars game.
Just publishing it?
Right, because so everybody's probably making a Star Wars game right now, but they can't, like...
I mean, I am.
Put it in the mail until... but... So,
it's just called Wars
obviously
until next year.
Pretty wishy-washy, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a video game set in the High Republic, because there already is one, actually. Oh! Maybe that was the thing the rumor was talking about. The, Tales from Galaxy's Edge was a video game that came out. It was the first High Republic product that came out, because there's like a 15-minute segment in the game where you play as this Padawan hanging out with Yoda in the High Republic doing stuff. So maybe that's it. Maybe that was our High Republic video game.
It's a real shame
guys.
that
we cracked the cake.
That's still an Oculus exclusive, right?
Yes.
Ugh. That's so stupid. Especially since, Steam has their own VR system, right?
Yeah.
Why would you not? I mean, because Oculus is run by Facebook and they're a bunch of bastards. That's why you don't. But it's like, why on earth do you need...
the Oculus Quest, I think, is one of the most affordable things, but I'm like, it's owned by Facebook, so I'm not interested.
Sure, but I mean, a lot more people have PlayStations, and if they said, hey, here's Battlefront VR, here's Vader Immortal, and here's dang old Galaxy's Edge. Like, that seems like you'd get a much wider audience. That's a different episode, though. I'm sorry. I'm just salty.
You'd get people to buy 2 out of the 3 of those.
Yeah. Oh, you mean not Battlefront?
I heard Battlefront VR was fun. It was like a flight thing. You fly a U-wing.
I want to play it on my Nintendo Labo VR thing for my Switch. That's what I want. When's that version coming out?
I want to know when they're going to re-release the Wii version of Force Unleashed on Switch, because that was your version, right?
I mean, yeah, I played that one.
It was the best version, right? Because you got Wiggle.
I don't really think there is a best.
Speaking of the best Star Wars game ever, I almost picked up a second copy of Star Wars Connect the other day. I was at a bookstore. I was getting rid of some books, and I had some credit, and it's like $4.50. I'm like, I already have a copy of this just to have, but I could have a second copy of this just to have. But I didn't because I just wanted to get out of there. There's a lot of people in there. I was like, I don't need to be here.
So, I don't know how much more we feel like discussing about who could be the mystery developer of the High
I don't know enough obscure developers to even speculate on that. It sounds to me,
it's obviously Blue Point.
I do a lot to make sure that until it appears on StarWars.com, I don't care about it or believe in it. Yes. Is essentially my motto with things I scrutinize Star Wars news very highly in that regard. If you go, I heard that Tamara Morrison's going to be in The Mandalorian, I'm like, did it say it on StarWars.com? Then I don't care, and I'm not going to devote any brain power to it.
I heard on Facebook that Luke Skywalker was going to show up in the season finale of Mandalorian.
Yeah, because I did hear things like that beforehand, and I was like, I don't... But then I also hear things like, where they're like, oh, did you hear that... Rian Johnson's making a KOTOR trilogy. It was confirmed.
I heard that back in 2017.
Well, then someone said it during a Legion match, and I'm like, bring up the article, and then he was like, oh, it's an April Fool's article. I'm like,
you just gave that little nod to a little. Oh,
but I did see some some news site post fairly recently that they've heard that Rian Johnson's trilogy is still a thing. But
in any case, I try and take all that non-confirmed stuff with huge grains of salt, which would be a cool planet if there were just salt mountains and it rains salt. Oh, that's Crate. I guess that could be Crate.
Yeah.
In any case, I take it with a planet of Crate, but I don't know why. I get the feeling that there's going to be, whether it's Knights of the High Republic, Old Republic remake, I feel like it's happening, and it's from a studio that we will be like, huh.
My prediction...
Who makes Bug Snacks? That studio.
I was gonna say the funniest turn of events for who could be developing Knights of the High Republic, because that's what I'm gonna go with, would be Obsidian. Because, they got a little screwed on their development of KOTOR 2, so everyone was like, you suck.
Sort of poetic, but I don't think that would fall under you will never guess it.
No, but I would like to think it's either them or Larian Studios. Or do you think it's the developers of Galaxy of Heroes? Is that what you're saying?
You mean EA?
Yes, it can't be EA.
I always forget that's them.
Obsidian. How about
we can ask Patron that just jumped in.
Give us, just name a developer who's not under EA or Ubisoft.
It's gonna be what, Frost Giant, or what's the other company?
PopCap Games. It's gonna be PopCap
company.
Games.
No, there's Frost Giant and that one other one that are the two studios being formed by a bunch of the old Blizzard people.
Oh,
Moon something, isn't it?
New Moon.
Moon. No, but maybe it's one of them. I doubt that they're going to get some kind of AAA Star Wars game right out of the gate. But at the same time, it's the company's full of a lot of long-time experienced developers.
True.
I feel like it. Yeah, I don't think it would be, unless they're actually going to do a reboot of Knights of the Old Republic. I don't see them using Knights of the
Really? I think they would.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
You're really like, you can't pick that one. Nope, not that one. Pick a different one. This is like,
I think Knights of the High Republic would be a great title. It like acknowledges that it's sort of a successor to these other games while having a
It's
different
going to be
title.
Star Wars : High Republic : Knights.
Star Wars Knights : High Order. Whoa.
There we go. Our patron in the chat hard confirmed that CD Projekt Red is working on the game and it will be out in 2033. There you have it, folks.
Seems like an optimistic timeline.
Oh, it's not getting any better than that. That's we're probably, we're gonna go out on that too. That's really good. Prediction made. He showed up just for that.
He's never been wrong about predicting the developer of a new, potentially KOTOR game before.
Oh boy.
He's also never predicted it before, but still, he's never been wrong.
And then, as soon as that happens, as soon as we get the official announcement, single web page of, here's Bob, of who's making the new Star Wars RPG, we will begin asking the question, when are they going to shut down the SWTOR servers? Because we started asking that question about Galaxies as soon as they announced Old Republic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of started asking that question about SWTOR like a few months after the game launch.
I don't think they'll.
Yeah,
I don't know about if they'd close them or not, but I can't see them doing another MMO.
I think that type of game is just mostly done.
I could see them doing like a sort of MMO. Like there's some games like, like Destiny or No Man's Sky where there's kind of this hub world where there's all sorts of players, but they're not MMOs like SWTOR or World of Warcraft or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see there ever being like another MMO type thing. Unless they remake Galaxies. Why is it Galaxies plural? There's only ever one galaxy in Star Wars.
It's theirs and ours.
No, it's multiple. That's not how it's spelled.
It's Leo's galaxy and it's my galaxy.
That's not how it's spelled.
Yeah, it is.
It would be. Yeah, not possessive.
My galaxy, your galaxy.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Galaxies.
Oh, I was thinking you're saying the galaxy possesses you guys. Galaxies, Leo, and Evan.
Yep.
Like Galaxy's Edge. Okay.
What if they did? Never mind.
But it's an MMO. You guys have the same galaxy. It's still one galaxy.
Not if you're on a different server.
Okay.
But then we're not playing together.
There's as many galaxies as there are servers. So there.
There you go. And right now there are 0 servers, except for the ones that people have privately.
I'm going to be the first one to see them all.
All right. Well, I think that was a good discussion. We all got to share equally in it, which it wasn't just me going on about Revan is the best of all time. So, I don't know. Unless you got any parting thoughts, we can probably wrap this sucker up. I should probably read Light of the Jedi, shouldn't I?
You absolutely should. Did you finish it, Leo?
Yeah. I finished.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, he read it quick.
I was going to say the only downside I see with marketability of Knights of the High Republic is there wouldn't be any enemies that also have lightsabers. But I don't want to get back in the discussion because we're done. But that I see as like the Mr. Game developer guy, not Mr. EA anymore, but just Mr. somebody going, well, you can't have a lightsaber hit another lightsaber. What are you even doing with this video game? The kids aren't going to like it. Anyways.
As long as
that's all.
As long as it's got Chewbacca. And
well, at least Chewbacca's got a lightsaber in this one.
Yeah, the only book that I have read so far is the little golden book equivalent.
Well, that'll set you up for... It's basically a super condensed version of Light of the Jedi.
Great. All right, that's it. We're done.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Hooray. Goodbye. Woohoo.